I now present to you the Ranting Weight Watcher Accountability Creed. If you choose this day to say this creed, you are accountable to me, the author. You are also accountable to all of those before you who have taken the creed, and all of those after you who will take the creed. But most of all, you are accountable to yourself. Now recite with me the Accountability Creed. Nothing can stand in my way because I choose to be unstoppable. My challenges crumble in my presence because I choose strength when I am weak. My insecurities have no power over my life because I choose confidence in the face of fear. I own every last one of my mistakes because I choose growth over mediocrity. The mirror and the scale are powerless because I move forward in spite of the result. Circumstances are not obstacles because I see solutions instead of problems. The demons of my past can no longer torment me because I choose to renew my mind daily. All things are possible as long as I believe, because if God is for me, who can be against me? This is the creed I declare each day. It is about what I do, not what I say. I will learn the work that needs to be done. I will never stop, even when I've won. I will work consistently, no matter the cost. I refuse to believe that all hope is lost. I will work when I want to. I will work when I don't. I will work when they are cheering. I will work when they won't. I will work when it's easy. I will work when it's hard. The atonements that I've made are made with no regard. I will work when it's cold. I will work when it's hot, because choices have consequences, justified or not. When I think I know it all, I will start back at one, because regardless of what I think, the work is never done. And from this moment forward, when times are tough, I choose to believe that I am enough. Yeah, Friday! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be listening. Thanks for making me part of your day. This is episode 261 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. It was good to hear that again, the Ranter's Creed. You know, the podcast, it began on August 27, 2020. And almost exactly 2 years later, I created the Accountability Creed. And the words of that creed are basically a representation of every thing I've gone through, everything I declared, every step I took. And they're still hold true today. Every word still holds true today. There's no easy way to say this. Today is going to be the last episode of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. I have been praying. I have spent a lot of times on my knees in prayer trying to figure out what did God want for me at this point in my life? There are three things that come to my mind in regards to this podcast. This podcast, from beginning to end, has been about me. It was never about God. Except for the time that I said, a few times I said that this is a mental, a physical, and a spiritual journey. But this podcast, I'm just being honest here, has never actually glorified God. And the reality is, I'm here only by God's grace at this point. I mean, I blew it. I royally blew my life in the largest fashion, really. I mean, how many people exist that can say they were 400 pounds, over 400 pounds twice in their life? How many people were given more than one chance to get it right? As I look back on this entire thing, I mean, the amazing journey this has been. I could see, though, that every step of the way was required. I can't deny it anymore that all of it was required. Even today is required. It was required for me to have an unhealthy relationship with food, to medicate with food my entire childhood and into adolescence and to young adulthood, to put myself in the dangerous portion of morbid obesity at 460 pounds. It was part of the story to get gastric bypass surgery. It was part of the story to have the success that came from gastric bypass surgery. It was part of the story to waste 15 years undoing that success. Because it took all of that. It took every bit of it. I started this journey after my 41st birthday on January 12th, 2019. It took all of the years before that, all 40 years, it took to create this. And I didn't start coming on here with this microphone and this podcast from day one, because I hadn't proven anything. On day one, after I finished filling out that clipboard, I was a seed in the ground. A seed in the ground. That seed could have gone into bad soil, hard soil, or good soil. I didn't know. On that day, I didn't know which one it was, but I was a seed in the ground. My work, the journey the work that was involved in this journey was like watering the ground and fertilizing the ground and causing the seed to turn into a plant and the plant to turn into a tree and for the tree to bear fruit. I had to do all of those things in order to come and stand at this microphone and present the Ranting Weight Watcher. If it was day one, what good is it for you to listen to me? I haven't proven anything. And I say some outrageous things. So if I had come up here without any authority whatsoever, it would be stupidity to follow me in that point. But August of 2020, the first episode airs. And that episode is essentially a year and a half in the making. I came to you a year and a half in to my journey with a story already. A story of success already. And for some of you, you grabbed a hold of that story and you never let go. And you're still here today. And God, am I thankful for you. There were times that I had dreams that this podcast would turn into something so large I could support my family. But I had little eyes. Whatever we think would be best for us, sometimes God knows, no. The next part of my journey requires me to show some humility. I have to go to a place where I don't know anything. You heard the creed. When I think I know it all, I will start back at one. Because regardless of what I think, the work is never done. That's where I am today. That's where I am today. The work is never done. So I start back at one. To finally, with my whole heart, unify the mind, the body, and the spirit. The next part of my journey is going to be concentrated almost primarily on spiritual growth with a secondary goal of body composition. But I don't have any authority in the area of body composition. I certainly don't have any authority in the area of spirituality. I can't tell you what it takes to get closer to God. And I'm not going to pretend. I refuse to pretend to know what I'm doing. I need to grow and learn. And I really can't keep this going while I'm doing that. I have a lot of stuff to work on, a lot of built up stuff in here that I need to finally forgive. Maybe this might make sense to some of you listening. Maybe it doesn't, but I'll tell you anyway. I was recently listening to a sermon, and it was like, it wasn't the subject of the, forgiveness was the subject of the sermon, right? But as he was talking, he's talking about how forgiveness and unforgiveness leaves an opening. It leaves an opening for the enemy to come in and introduce sin into your life. and cause all kinds of chaos in that problem, in that wake. Because with that sin becomes your seeking to comfort yourself. For me, that comfort was food. For the very first time ever, I saw that addiction was tied to unforgiveness. And even though I went through a almost 7-year journey here to work on that addiction, in the process, I never dealt with the unforgiveness. I could see that now. I could see that from the sermon that I saw. I could see how it had tied. It tied itself right to all of the things that I go crazy in sin with, and all of the things that I tried to medicate with. I could see how unforgiveness was tied to it. So I need this time to be one-on-one with the man who essentially created forgiveness. I have to humble myself and finally deal with all of the stuff, all of the crap from my past. Allow myself to be healed. Allow myself to finally be worked on, to unearth all of the stuff that has been buried for 20, 30, God knows how many years. To allow it all to come to the surface and allow to let go and let God, essentially. I haven't left you guys without tools. The 261 episodes of this podcast show you a progression, an evolution of how I was from day one of Weight Watchers and how I grew into 2,500 some odd days later. But 6 years, 11 months, right? I mean, next week it'll be 11 months. 6 years, 11 months of work. It's a progression. There is not a single thing, no matter where you are in your journey, there's not a single point in this 261 episodes that you can't say, this is where I'm at right now. And you can't take note of how I handled my life at these moments. And you can also take note how I progressed forward, regardless. In the end of all of this, if you never grow, you'll always struggle. And everything around you is designed for you to never realize that growth is the real goal. Change. Transformation. That's the goal. It's the goal mentally, it's the goal physically, and it's the goal spiritually. I worked on the physical. I worked on the mental. I have the two of those things pretty good toward the end. Physical and mental. And now I have to work on spiritual, which will also work, physical, and mental. Uniting the three. That's what I have to do. And one day, if I'm given the authority to step on this microphone, I'm going to open my mouth and no one's going to forget what I have to say. But until I'm given that authority, I won't pretend I have it. I want you guys to realize more than anything else, nothing changes unless you change. And my one prayer for you, my one prayer for everyone listening to me right now, is that number one, you realize that this is not about loyalty to a system. This is not about being a member of some corporation who sees you as an income source for the rest of your life. That's not what this is about. No matter how much it is pounded into your brains, it's so much more than that. These corporations, these systems that exist today are just the beginning of your transformation. It is the lanes on the road. And for some parts in your journey, the lanes on the road, it's like a double yellow line, right? You can't cross over. But in other parts of your journey, there are dotted lines. And now you can shift lanes. This is the thing that I need you to see. These are the moments where growth is the exponential thing happening, and it is your choice to believe you're at the double yellow line or you're at the dotted line. Because in reality, all of these systems, no matter what you're doing, all of them are guidelines. They're guidelines. And you know what? If you lived your life so poorly, in the beginning, they have to be the double yellow line. And you have to hit it hard. And you have to dedicate yourself in some way, shape, or form to that system. But at some point, you should grow and outgrow that system. You shouldn't remain in kindergarten all your life. You should go to middle school. You should go to high school. You should go to the university. You should grow. And you should learn. And everything you learn about nutrition should teach you more about yourself in the process. And in that moment where you learn each one of these things, I pray that you have the confidence to implement. To not be afraid to walk away from one system because this is something new. Because a system that creates mediocrity, so you could show up once a week to a workshop and feel all warm and fuzzy just to make sure that you feel comfortable enough so that you can pretend it's okay to keep paying $50 a month for very little results. And no growth. No growth. Because the growth in all of this, it's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. And I pray to God that you realize that. I pray to God you realize that the exponential growth that is possible for you is all in your power, and nobody's going to hand you the idea. Only someone like me who has zero to gain from you growing is who's going to hand it to you. 261 episodes. I started within the guidelines. And I got to a point in my journey where the guidelines no longer helped me. And the journey will have the system will have you pretend that it's okay, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Make no changes, just keep going. And when it doesn't happen, they call it a plateau. They give it a fancy word. And really the only thing happening here is your inability to grow is what's holding you back. Your inability to go and find knowledge outside of the system and then implement that knowledge, causing growth beyond the system. It happens small. You read a book and you say, whoa, well, I never thought of that. They never told me that. The corporation never told me that. I wonder, what would happen if I implement some of these theories? What would happen if what could I do to implement these theories? So you come up with a plan and you implement the theories. All of a sudden, things start moving. You realize that you made this change and it took some sacrifice. Number one, it took financial sacrifice because you maybe went and bought a book. And then it took time sacrifice because you read that book. And then it took a sacrifice of making a change, which the system you're currently in, they're widely known for everything's on the table. Growth beyond the system, to realize for yourself that that is foolish theology for people that love mediocrity. But if you're listening to me, you're not here for mediocrity. You're here for growth. And maybe you're afraid. And I pray to God that you get the courage to make the moves necessary for growth. Because it may be scary. It may take courage that you haven't had to show in years. And it may take walking away from things that are so comfortable to you that every fiber of your being is like, no, I don't want to do this. But you choose to do it anyway, in the name of growth. And then you achieve the growth. You achieve success. And you know what? Once you do that, it only motivates more. It's like when you're stepping out in faith and believing God is going to be there to fill the gaps of something going on in your life. And then you see the intervention, the divine intervention of God in your life. You could see it. And it makes you excited. And you know what? Your faith becomes stronger. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Your mind, your body, your spirit go through the same things. You read this book, you gain a little knowledge. You decide to implement. And you grow. And suddenly you're in a room in the same workshop you've been going to. And you're looking around and you're saying, why don't I feel like I belong here anymore? That's what the goal should be. The goal should be that you outgrow the systems you started. And the people that are going to be stuck in those systems are going to think you strayed off the path. It's okay. Let them think that. What you're doing is showing courage beyond anything they ever understood. Because the people they consider the authority say they don't have to do all that. The people that say they are the authority, they pay to be the authority, those people are making them warm and fuzzy and comfortable week after week. But that's not you. That's not what you hear. You don't listen to someone like me week after week and want to live in mediocrity. That's not what you're not coming to me for that kind of message. My message from the beginning has been a message of hope, encouragement, and to push you into an uncomfortable situation that you don't want to be in. 261 episodes are here for any point of your journey. and you could see where I chose to grow. And all of the possibilities for your growth are also there. Now, I'm not going away forever. I mean, I told you guys last week, you're going to see me week after week. Coach Sophie F. has her own independent workshop. That's where you'll find me every Saturday morning. I'm not leaving her. I support her. That's where I'm going to be. Her own independent workshop. It's at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time, Saturday morning. If you wish to be a part of that meeting, send me an email, therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. Send me that email, and in the subject line, just put Zoom link, and I'll send you the information. It's one link, and it's good for every week. Until we tell you it's no longer good, it's good. And you can go, and you can find me there. And my social media presence isn't going anywhere. I'll probably post some test results when I get, the body composition thing going. Just show a test result here and go on. See, this is my baseline. This is where I'm starting. So I'm not disappearing. But one day I'm going to come back to this microphone when I have the authority from God himself to say go. And that podcast, whatever that is, and whatever it is, it's going to give God the glory from beginning to end. It's no more about I anymore. It's about he. Because without him, in reality, I'd be dead already. Without him, a lot of us would be dead already. Without his grace, without his mercy, we would be dead already. It takes a lot of, It takes a lot to understand that. And I pray that all of you realize the same things I realized. I pray that all of you find the growth. You have all the tools you need already. You just have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to go outside what you've been told is good enough. Because good enough doesn't build great. It doesn't build greatness to just aim for good enough. You have to show up for yourself day in and day out when everyone else says, well, no, what you did last time was good enough. Give yourself some grace. No, you guys have to grow more than that. And you have all the tools necessary. Wherever you're at right now, you should transition your life to eat whole foods. You're not going to do that tomorrow. If you're eating ultra-processed foods right now, if you're walking in the middle of the grocery store right now and you're picking out things in wrappers, things in boxes, things were made to sit on shelves for 20 plus years, if you're still doing that, you're not going to be able to do what I'm telling you to do. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't start transitioning your life from it. Because growth means walking away from who you used to be, not just trying to live with who you used to be. Walking away from it one wrapper at a time, one box at a time. Transitioning your life to whole foods, real foods. Nothing is convenient in the life that I'm living. Nothing is convenient. And if your aim is convenience, my message is not for you. This is a quest of the most difficult thing you'll ever do. A quest for growth beyond what anybody tells you is necessary, beyond what everybody tells you is possible. I'm telling you it's possible. And that's all should matter. Whole foods. If it is part of an animal, the meat of an animal, eat it. If it comes from an animal, eggs, milk, cheese, eat it. If it grows out of the ground, eat it. Anything else, make it yourself from scratch or don't eat it. And stop with the convenience. Stop. You're worth so much more than your what you think is value. You're worth so much more than that. People are sitting there going into places like Chick-fil-A because they've been told that grilled chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A is a healthy choice. Let's talk about that for a minute. Grilled chicken should be 2 ingredients: chicken and fat. Chicken and fat. And if you're going to add a third, salt, some olive oil, what? How crazy could I go here? Go on the Chick-fil-A website. It's a paragraph of ingredients. A paragraph until you realize that there's something wrong there, where something that should be 3 ingredients is a paragraph. There's something wrong until there's no growth for you. There's no growth until you realize that. You must realize that at all costs, and you must make the changes slowly but necessary, 1 item at a time, 8 weeks at a time. Eliminate things. Trade one for another. Trade a bag of chips for an apple. Trade cookies for a banana. Trade them. Make the choices. Those are whole foods. And get rid of the nonsense. Walk away from it. You can make French fries with 3 ingredients: potato, salt, and oil. Why does McDonald's have 19? Why? Stop it. Stop the nonsense. Stop believing in convenience. And fix your life. 1 thing at a time. 1 item at a time. 1 hour at a time. 1 day at a time. 1 year at a time. All of it. It starts now, not tomorrow, not Monday, now. Real change is possible if you are willing. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.